Hello, it is me, Jen, the girl with the journals. I have journaled for 30 years and recently converted those to electronic files, and I am sharing all of the juicy nuggets and wisdom that I have learned throughout that process. I won't get too much into what I journaled about and all the processes here, but I want to just share with you. I meant to do this video yesterday. It is Mindset Monday on a Tuesday, and I think that's okay. I think sometimes we put a bunch of rules on ourselves that are from out there in the ether that don't really belong to us, and I think it's time for that to stop. So I'm bringing you Mindset Monday on a Tuesday. Anyway, my February went really well. I think I already shared my recap of the month of February, and it is already to the Ides of March. And basically what I wanted to cover is, number one, how my March started. Many people are sharing with me that this year has already been a little turbulent. People have been feeling like they're in a washing machine, and I am different. I am experiencing a bit of that myself. I've had a big change at work schedule. I've had a big change in my home life in terms of people living in my home, visiting my home. I've gone on a vacation already. Lots and lots of changes and shifting going on. So if that's you, I've got a video for you. Stay with me. What I want to talk about is the word appreciation. I looked up the definition, and the act of placing an estimate or value on persons or things, perception or awareness of qualities or values, gratitude, and increase in value. And this is what we want, right? To appreciate. And so when you're appreciating something, you want more of that, right? You're wanting to grow that thing when you're appreciating it. I happen to be a bookkeeper right now, and I own a business, and I do this. And I want those things to grow. But so often we get caught in the trap of complaining. We get caught in the trap of seeing problems to solve or the negatives. And while you can be conscious of those things, and I so get that. Let me say right off the bat that this has been a struggle of mine for a long time, and I've really, really had to work on this, as evidenced in 30 years of journals. I believe you me, there's a lot of complaints in those journals, but I've learned over the years how to quickly shift out of complaint mode into appreciation mode because it serves me so well. You basically want to be watering with your words the things that you desire. So let's just say, Jen, I'm in a mess. I don't know what I desire. I don't even know anything. Such a mess, such a mess. Just write down a few things that are bothering you, and then write what the opposite of that thing would be. And just let yourself imagine that. Don't put a judgment on it. Don't put any stories around it. Don't put a yeah but on the end of it. Just let it be. This is just paper and just words that you're writing down. This isn't action you're taking. No one is getting hurt in this process. This is you just allowing your mind to go there in a different direction instead of just staying stagnant. So basically, like I said, the act of appreciating is placing an estimate of value on persons or things and your perception of awareness of the quality of something. Notice appreciation. When you're appreciating, growing, you're noticing the qualities of a thing. So you could be appreciating, you could be making bigger something you don't want. And if you're doing that with your words, choose different words. And believe you, I understand that seems like, but you don't know, Jen, you don't know what I'm going through, blah, blah, blah. I've been in that place where I have said, you don't know How am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to get my mind to just shift from this yucky thing that's happening over to la la land where everything's good? I feel like a liar. That's fake, whatever. Listen, you can use your words however you want, and they will be appreciating something. You will be focusing on and placing high value on something. Why not let it be something you want instead of just the mess that you're in? Just allow your mind to do that, even for 5 minutes, to just focus on the opposite thing. How could this be better? Ask yourself that question. How could this be? What would it be like if this situation were amazing? What would it be like if this situation wasn't a thing? How would I be living? What would I be doing? Where would I be living? Just let yourself go in your journal. Let it be. And once you feel the freedom to start shifting away from the problem and the mess, you will feel lighter just in writing it without even having taken any action. And who doesn't want to feel that? It feels a lot better than staying stuck in the muck. Now, sometimes we get addicted to that, and this is not the video for that. That's a whole different ball game, because there is a payoff to complaining. And I don't want to get too deep into that right now, but we want to grow more of what we want. So you want to water that with your words. You want to be fertilizing it with actions. So if you make your list of things that, what would it be like if this were totally different or totally solved or weren't an issue? What would life be like? Well, what would you do? Who would you call? What would your face be like? How would your body feel? Let yourself imagine that and just get in a space of imagining how you might feel if this were completely solved. And just let your body feel that. Close your eyes for 30 seconds and just feel like this is solved. It's solved. It's all better now. There is no harm in allowing yourself to feel that feeling. I know there are parts of you that are screaming no. Like, I can't. That's BS and all of that. But you say you want it solved. If you can't even allow yourself to think about it being solved, there's a problem. It starts in your mind. Everything you do and you create out in the world, everything you see, every building, every road, every product in your life started with someone thinking about it first. Okay? They thought about it. They may have put words to it and wrote it down, and then it became a thing. It didn't just magically appear. It started up here with someone thinking about it. The same holds true for you. You have to allow yourself to be able to think about it being good before it ever will be good. Okay? And sometimes good means just not bad. Okay? So you want to fertilize it with your actions. You want to take those words and water that desire, water that feeling of it being solved, water the feeling of this can be good. It really can be good. We all go through seasons where your season might be feeling very chaotic and out of control, very painful, very dark. We go through those seasons. They are just a season. And it may have felt like a really long season, but you're gaining things and you're growing in ways that you cannot anticipate what a blessing they will be one day. So I want to share with you something that happened to me recently. I got flipped completely upside down by a lot of things all at once, including my hormones. And truthfully, I'm the kind of person who can usually get myself back on track. Give me 2 weeks and I am like gold, because I've done this for so long that I'm very fast at correcting course for myself. Well, this one was taking a little bit longer. And I say this because sometimes we wallow and we sit by ourselves, or we put pressure on ourselves and say that we can do this all by ourselves. We should be able to figure it out. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do that? Again, we're not appreciating the right thing. we're putting appreciation on our lack, we're putting appreciation on our inability, on the things that are, what's wrong with me instead of what's right with me. So I decided I was going to call and get some help. And I reached out to someone to help me with my mindset, and I reached out to someone to help me with my physical body. And I felt totally humbled. I felt like I should be able to do this. My ego was screaming, you should be able to do this. You are the person who actually does this all the time and so well. You've helped other people do it. What's wrong with you? Okay. And so I'm not immune from it. I'm not immune. And usually when you're entering a new paradigm for you, a new set of circumstances that you haven't done before, you're stretching your capacity, you're going to feel that feeling because you're going to be wanting to feel safe and you're going to want to feel in control. And this new paradigm feels out of control. This new set of circumstances, this new job, this new living situation, whatever, feels out of control. And so your protector part is going to come in raring and fighting and swinging. And mine certainly did. It was like, sit down, lay down, watch Netflix, do nothing. And I just was like feeling physically and mentally depleted. Reached out for help from a physician as well. And lo and behold, I was better in a day, like massively better, just because I humbled myself enough to say, hey, I could use a little help. So if you need to make a call to someone to gather a little bit of insight, I would not go to someone that knows all the details of your life. If you're in a situation where you are like going through a life transition and your friends are your go-to to just complain or just vent or whatever, I would go to someone who's neutral. So whether that's a counselor or a coach or a teacher or whatever, clergy, whatever your source of help would be. And then for me also, it was a physician, because I couldn't tell if this was like hormones causing me to feel this way or the feelings causing my hormones to be out of whack. Turns out my hormones were out of whack, and I did get prescribed some medicine for that. So that totally helped. And also I got help on the other side of it, which was just my thought processes. And I really just needed some confirmation, some affirmation from someone that was like, hey, yeah, you're on the right track. And just doing that made a world of difference. So reaching out for help would be one thing. And so I said, water with your words, fertilize with your actions. In my case, it was asking for help. And then shine a light of appreciation on those little seeds and sprouts. Okay. So maybe your new paradigm requires something that feels very, very big. And maybe your progress feels very, very small. And the steps you're taking feel like they're not even moving the needle at all. And it's frustrating. The pace is frustrating for you. I want you to celebrate the steps you are taking, no matter how small they are. You could feel like you're climbing the biggest mountain, but as long as you're taking one step, another day you might take 2 steps, another day you might take 50 steps, another day you might go a half a mile, but you're taking steps forward. It might be a half a step, and you might just be pointing your eyes in the right direction. But just take the tiniest of action and celebrate that. Appreciate that. Grow that. And that builds momentum, and it helps you on whatever growth track that you're on, whatever thing you're trying to appreciate and magnify. Rather than, like me, I was looking at all the gaps. Why can't I figure this out? What's wrong with me? I was doing all of that, and that's what was growing. Okay. I know that. I've practiced it. So if you're feeling like this, you're like a newbie in this situation where you're trying to reorient the way you think, practice with your journal. And the journal doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be a notebook that you get from Walmart. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. We all have paper sitting around. But doing it off your phone and writing with pen and paper It just keeps the distractions away and keeps you focused on what you want and what you're appreciating. So also I want to share a resource because I love sharing my favorite resources. I have a lot. Some of them have stuck with me for years and years. Some of them have just kind of gone away. This one was one that I did, I want to say in the early 2000s. I was listening to Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret on YouTube. I listened to it on my walk for 30 days straight. And I swear to you, every day I got a new insight. And he uses that analogy of a garden growing and the garden being your mind. And you can plant anything in your mind, he says, that you want. Any seed that you want. You're the farmer. You get to plant in there seeds of joy, seeds of whatever you're wanting to grow. And if that's poison, you can do that. And he uses the example of nightshade. He's like, if you want to plant nightshade and grow that, you can. Not too many people do, but you can. And so I'm telling you, if you feel and you're having these emotions of out of control, heavy, overwhelm, all of that, appreciate, water your words on the things that you want. And you can start in your notebook. Again, that's Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. You can find it here on YouTube. Listen to it. He has such a soothing, beautiful voice too. There's also, and I don't want you to get all crazed about this, a book of wisdom is the way I want you to think of this. The Bible, Matthew 17:20 says, truly I tell you, if you have the faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it'll move. Nothing will be impossible for you. And truly, I can tell you that I've had this gap feeling before of like, there's this huge gap because I have never done it yet. But here's the good thing, especially if you're older. Think back to something that you feel like was a big achievement for you. Could have been graduating college, could have been getting a new job, it could have been, building your first house, getting married, seeing your kids off to wherever, like going on a trip, whatever it is, running a marathon. And when you were building up to that point of being able to do this thing, it probably felt big. It probably felt scary, overwhelming. There were probably moments of doubt and maybe fear. And you didn't know the things that you know now. Now that you've already done it, you have knowledge that no one can take away from you. You have experience. No one can take that away from you. It's yours. It's like a goodie bag that you have that no one can touch and steal. And so it's broadened your knowledge base and it's broadened your capacity. So if you find yourself shifting into a new paradigm, it's the same thing. You've already done that. So what I want you to do, if you find yourself in this, like, I'm stretching into some new territory for me and I don't know what it looks like, and there's a big gap between where I am now and where I want to be or where I would like to be, I want you to write down 10 things, 10 accomplishments that you have done. And I don't care what they are. It could be I learned to type at a certain speed. It could be I read a really thick, chunky book. Don't put a judgment on it. If it feels like it was an accomplishment, it was an accomplishment, okay? That's it. No, there's no police around here telling you what an accomplishment is. You get to decide. You get to pat yourself on the back. And then after you've written your 10 things that you've accomplished, I want you to write next to each one, what qualities did it take for you to do that? Maybe it was courage, tenacity, discipline, resilience, adaptability. Maybe it was chutzpah. Maybe it was spunk, grit. You get to choose the words that are meaningful to you. Just write down one word for each thing, or a group of words that really speak to you. Confidence. And guess what? You still have those. They're still yours. You may not have used them for a while, but pull them out of your tool bag because they're yours and you get to use them. So you get to take these qualities into your next paradigm. All right? So already we've shifted from overwhelmment and despair and hopelessness, hopefully, into I'm going to allow my mind to actually think about this being solved and how I would feel and what that would look like and what might I do. What would I think? How would I feel? How would I act? How would I behave? And then just start leaning into that and taking action and letting that inspire you. Allowing that feeling and that emotion and that drive to just allow you to shift the way you're being. It's a way of being. And just like once you got the new job or whatever the accomplishment was, your way of being changed, right? I can remember times where I shifted positions at work or started to own a company. My way of being radically changed. And so I know you can relate to that. Even if I ran a half marathon. When I did that, my way of being during that season totally changed. And I had my mind on something and I acted on that something. I allowed myself to just lean into the unknown and knew that I had these characteristics and qualities that helped me do other things that I could use. I always tell my children, they're adults now, I tell my boys, I'm like, when they're jumping into a new paradigm, a new set of circumstances that feels terrifying and scary and like overwhelming and whatever, I say two things to them routinely. Number one, I say, remember when you did this, this, and this, and how scary it was? And then immediately they're like, oh yeah, I remember that. And they draw from that knowledge of knowing that they have overcome fear in their lifetime. The other thing I'll say, especially if it's something that is more of an event-driven thing, like you're going to move into a new apartment and it feels overwhelming and whatever. Well, eventually you'll be in that apartment. You'll be in that house. You'll be in that new situation. And then it'll feel normal. And it's just a matter of you going there and doing it. And then it'll feel normal. It's really not this terrible thing. You can only do today what you can only do today. So if it helps you to brain dump and write down a bunch of to-do list, tasky type of things and just mark them off as they get done, or just when you feel like doing one of them and looking at the list, get it out of your head. Don't allow it to overwhelm your head. Put it on paper. Imagine it's all done. Allow yourself to go there and say, this is going to be done. This is going to be done, and it's all going to get handled. There's been other times in my life when I've felt like this, and I've managed my way through, and I've come out on the other side with things that I know now that I didn't know then. And you're going to be better for it. Just trust me on this. You already know this. This is not new news to you. You just needed reminded. But on the topic of like, maybe you're in this place of, Jen, I'm too old. Well, I've already said, the more of these experiences you have, the more tools you have in your tool belt. So actually, you're better equipped. But beyond that, I want to share on the seed topic. You don't see too many plants that just sit there and try not to die. Because living things are not here for that. We're not here to just try not to die. Okay? We're here to grow and expand and thrive and bless those around us And maybe you're feeling that overwhelmment, but you really can allow your mind to go to places that it's never been before. Places where it feels good. And allow your mind to feel the feeling of feeling good and to feel better and to feel like a blessing. And imagine times when you have. We all have been a blessing to someone. We've all experienced the smile on someone else's face when you've said a kind word. And maybe right now it is just complimenting the cashier when you're at the grocery. Maybe it is just putting your cart back. Maybe it is just telling your spouse that you appreciate them and seeing what they did that was right. I think I've shared on this channel before. There's, in the book Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins, there's this really magnificent exercise in the book along these lines. And he has you close your eyes. Well, first he has you assess the room that you're in, and you look around and you find everything that's blue. And you just catalog it in your mind, and you try to remember every single thing in the room that's blue. And then you close your eyes and you try to say everything that was blue that you remember. Try to list them out in your mind. When you open your eyes, look at everything that's green. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice this is green, that's green, that's green, or whatever color, red or purple or, And it's because you see what you're looking at. You see what you've looking at. And if you've trained your eyes to look at the negative, to look at the things that are going wrong, to look at your lack, to look at the shortcomings that you have or your inabilities, that's what you'll see. It's just a matter of training your mind to look at the things that you want more of. It's back to appreciation. So I want to close this out with the act of placing an estimate or a value on persons or things, perception or awareness of quality and values, gratitude, increase in value is what appreciation means. So are you increasing in value the things that you want to be increasing in value, or are you increasing things that you don't want? And it starts with our words, and we're watering our desires. We're watering those changes, those new paradigms for us with our words, and then we're fertilizing them with some action. So if you wrote down, hey, these are the things, and I'm imagining them being solved, and this is how it would feel, and this is how I would act, and this is how, my body would feel. This is the way my face would look. This is the move I would make. This is the place I would go. These are the people I would be calling. And then just start slowly doing some of that and allowing yourself to feel that. So you're fertilizing with action, and then you're shining the light of appreciation on your little seeds and sprouts. You're going to celebrate all of those things that you did. I don't care if they're the teeniest, tiniest, and they feel like they're making no difference at all. You're going to make them a big deal. You're going to appreciate them. You're going to make them bigger, and you're going to create momentum. Then you're going to look up Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. And then you're going to write down all of the things that you've already done. So 10 things that you've already done that were new to you before you did them. They felt like an accomplishment. And it literally can be anything. It could be anything. You could have planted a vegetable garden, but now you know. You know some things you didn't know before. You could paint your living room. Now you know some things that you didn't know, or built a doghouse. Whatever it is, you know things now before you did that project, before you got that job that you didn't know, before you got that new apartment or your first relationship. You know things now that you didn't know before because you did it. Okay? What qualities did it take you or did you acquire through that process? You still have them. You still have those qualities in your goodie bag of life, and you can use them now. So I want you to remember to appreciate exactly what you want to grow. And those things that you don't want to grow anymore, yeah, we're not appreciating that anymore. So also a reminder that if you need assistance and you need someone to help you through this process, I would be happy to work with you. Also, like I said, I called my physician. Sometimes you just need to delegate to someone or ask for help. People actually want to help, it makes them feel good. Don't feel like you're a burden to someone. You got to ditch that feeling and allow someone the opportunity to bless you, just like you would love to help someone if you could, you know. Make sure that you're reaching out to the appropriate resource for whatever it is that you're endeavoring to do. I know one time I reached out to find mentors, and I actually like called a bunch of people and said, "Would you be my mentor?" And they were like, "No." And it felt so terrible. But I use that to find mentors through watching YouTube videos, through reading books. And so just because they're not in person, they're not a live person, doesn't mean that you can't find them. Okay? So I want to encourage you if you're feeling a little bit like that too. There are people out there, there are groups out there. You can go into Facebook groups, you can go into meetups. There's all kinds of resources available, but if you're not ready for that, definitely, YouTube videos like this one or books are a great source. And don't forget about you, because sometimes you forget that you are the greatest resource and you literally have everything that you need to do whatever it is that you want to do. I hope this finds you well. I hope you are encouraged. Keep journaling, keep writing, stay in touch with you because you are awesome.